Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. So first of all, I'm back. I wanted to post a video last week, but that video, which you haven't even seen yet, but is filmed and ready to rock and roll, got what I consider to be a bogus community guideline strike on it. So that's in the process of being appealed right now. And so now I am just filming content as usual because I wasn't able to post for like a whole week. So on my community tab, videos, nothing. Like I couldn't post anything, so I'm very happy to be back. But today we're doing a video that I have been wanting to do for a long time because this is a person that I've wanted to talk about for a long time because I think they spread a lot of misinformation about health and weight loss surgery in particular. And this person is FatSapphicBro on TikTok. And I mentioned wanting to do this video a couple videos ago, and everybody was like, please do it. So now I'm doing it. So yeah, you're welcome. Before we jump into that, I want to thank my friend Addie. She makes very cute earrings. Her business is called 906 Beads. It's like 906, the area code, beads. And I'm going to have that linked down below. We did like an art swap. So I sent her things from my Etsy store, which by the way, my Etsy store Halloween collection is up and ready to go. I'll have that linked down below as well if you are interested. Yeah, so we did an art swap and I told her that I'd shout her out in one of my videos. Look at these cute little mushrooms. Look how cute they are. Anyways, yeah, she sent me a bunch of cute earrings. And yeah, so definitely go check out her stuff down below as well. And I've rambled enough, so let's just get into this reaction because there's a lot to cover. Before we get into the reaction, I just kind of want to give like a little background of who this person is. So FatSapphicBro is a very prominent figure in the fat activist community on TikTok. Like I said, they just spread a lot of medical misinformation about just stuff relating to obesity, also like weight loss surgery, that kind of stuff. And I've come across a lot of their videos while doing research for just like my normal TikTok reaction compilation videos. And I figured they were worthy of their own video. I will say that they are trans and their pronouns are they, them, and just because we don't agree with what somebody's saying doesn't mean that we get to disrespect their pronouns, so don't be a dick. And also, just general housekeeping, don't go send hate to this person. That's not what this video is for. I just think they are spreading very dangerous information, very dangerous messaging on the internet, and I wanted to bring attention to it and kind of talk about why I personally, in my own opinion, think that this is dangerous. And they also have a history of copyright claiming, people making videos about them. That being said, I know that because people who have been copyright claimed by them, their videos are still up, so clearly nothing happened. So I'm not really scared. This is transformative content this is what transformative content is. So yeah, I'm not scared about that. Okay, now let's get into the reaction.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. To my TED Talk.
Okay, so again, they use this sound a lot. I think the first time I featured them on my channel, they were using this sound. It says, just for people who are listening to this, I've been told a lot that people like when I read things, so I'm going to read them. It says, stop saying body positive if you support and participate in intentional weight loss. That is not what the BOPO movement is about. My partner is sitting next to me playing video games while I film this. And they specifically wanted to sit by me for this video because they knew that they were not going to agree with things. And we're already off to a great start. Anyways, so those of you who have been around my reactions and have heard me talk about the body positivity community before, know probably what I'm about to say. And that is body positivity started off as just that. Being positive about your body, regardless of its abilities, its size, anything. Just like loving what you got. That's what the body positive movement started as. And I recently, well, not recently, I feel like it was a couple months now, a couple months ago now, but I made a video talking about how I felt the fat acceptance community has overtaken what body positivity started as. And not to mention, a big part of the body positive movement was for like burn survivors, amputees, those kinds of people too, just to like form a community around with similar people. And I continue to get comments on like all my fat acceptance videos talking about how they're so sad that that community was kind of taken away from them by the body positive movement. The BOPO movement also is not about fat acceptance. It is now, but it didn't start that way. And so I love, it's so rich to me when fat activists talk about the body positive movement as if it's not something that they took from a whole other community of people. Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to include this one as like a little start off point. So let's go to the next one.
Treat obesity. First off, it's a disease.
So this is a doctor on TikTok, which like TikTok doctors, whatever. But I'm assuming this person is asking how do you fix it in terms of obesity. And so this doctor is saying like ways to treat obesity, to lose weight, that kind of thing.
To recognize it's a disease.
Stop pathologizing body size. Stop calling obesity a disease. Body size is not a disease. Just like being abnormally taller than average is not a disease. Leave fat people alone.
Leave Benny alone!
Stop trying to cure body size. Medical fat phobia is what kills fat people. Stop with this bullshit. Also, thin people in particular need to leave fat people the fuck alone. Especially thin doctors.
So, here we go with the medical misinformation. Just right out the gate. Like, this is what so much of their content is, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because it is so harmful to anybody who may be consuming it, who's looking for someone on the internet to, like, look up to. It's not good messaging at all. So, obesity is a disease. It's literally a disease. On my medical chart, because I still am obese after losing 100 pounds, it says obesity under conditions. So it's a disease. And if I don't do anything about it, or if I chose not to do anything about it when I got to my highest weight, I would be not doing too great right now. And I was not doing too great when I was at my heaviest. So doctors aren't pathologizing fat people. First of all, let's get that out of the way. Second of all, I do agree that, and I've talked about this on my channel before, and I've talked about this with other people before too, in my experience, that fat people do tend to have certain medical conditions or medical things overlooked because of their size. Like, that is a thing I've experienced firsthand. I have a chronic illness, for those of you that don't know, and it was blamed on my weight so much in the beginning. And it honestly has gotten, I would say, worse with weight loss, just because of the stress that it's put on my body from exercising more, that kind of stuff. Worth it, but it's definitely gotten worse. And so I know how frustrating that is, and I know how frustrating that can feel. And so I empathize, and I still experience that sometimes too. So I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just putting that out there. But by diagnosing you with obesity, doctors aren't pathologizing you. They are literally just telling you have a disease called obesity. Off of the point of thin people need to leave fat people the fuck alone, I just don't. This is where the hypocrisy comes in for me. Or maybe not the hypocrisy, but the contradictions come in for me, because I have done a handful of reactions to various different fat acceptance content creators now. And one common theme that I see is that fat acceptance people, fat activists, want thin people in on their movement, or they want support from thin peers. So I guess it's like, what do you want? Do you want fat people to leave you or thin people to leave you the fuck alone, or do you want their help? Which one do you want? Make up your minds and move on. As for thin doctors should leave you the fuck alone, also worry about, like, if a fat person went to a fat doctor, that it would just be like an echo chamber and the doctor would just be telling the patient what they wanted to hear. And that would be concerning for everybody's health involved. So, yeah. Okay, on to the next one.
Request from somebody, and so I just wanted to chat about some stuff. So many of us, especially so many of us fat folks, come from a history of being forced into dieting. And it means that at a very early age, we started doing things like counting calories and obsessing about all of the tiny, minute details in every single food that we consumed. What a lot of us didn't know at the time is that that would later develop into full-blown eating disorders. Counting calories as a way to lose weight is not effective. It's already been proven in multiple research studies that it's just not an effective way to lose weight. And something that I think a lot of people don't understand is that if you are starving your body, i.e., if you're not eating enough calories that your body needs in order to sustain its current weight, then your body will start to eat at itself. And everyone thinks that that means that your body will start to eat at your fat. It won't. It does not eat at fat first. It actually eats at muscle first. And it actually converts muscle into fat. The only time that you should be focusing on counting calories is to ensure that you are getting enough nutrition every day. You should not be counting calories to lose weight. It's just not an effective way to do it. And something like 90% of dieting fails, probably because it's all rooted in really bunk crap science that has been debunked for years and decades now. It is absolutely imperative for every human being to eat enough food every day to survive. I personally have calculated the approximate amount of calories I would need every day to maintain the weight that I am at, so that I have a rough idea of how much food I should be consuming to ensure that I'm not losing weight. Mostly because I refuse to participate in disordered eating and dieting any longer. I tortured my body and was forced into diets and weight loss plans my entire life, starting from like second grade. Nobody is going to starve themselves into self-love. That is always a lie. That is a lie that the disordered eating tells you. Please feed yourself. Food is fuel. Food is what makes sure that you have energy all day. Care for yourself. Love y'all.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. First off, I want to say I do empathize with the fat people from a very young age are often taught to restrict very young. I empathize with that. I, in some ways, was taught the same thing, which in itself can cause a lot of harm. I was talking to my partner about how, like, I honestly don't think I've ever really had a normal relationship with food, pre and post weight loss. And I still don't, and I don't think I ever will. And that's because I've just been it's been ingrained in my brain so much that, like, there's good foods and there's bad foods and blah, 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 which is something I'm working on. Don't worry. But it is just something that I think about all the time. Like, I never don't think about the nutritional aspect of the food I'm eating, whether it's good or bad. And it's not an obsessive thing. It's just kind of like a thought that runs through my head. It used to be obsessive, which I have since flipped that, but yes. So I do empathize with that, and I do understand how that can throw people into EDs. Absolutely. And I was going along with them. Like, I was like, yes, I'm understanding this, I'm following this, like, maybe I can finally find some common ground with this person. And then they just took a sharp left turn at just throwing the whole idea of thermodynamics in the trash can. Every doctor, every nutritionist, every dietitian, everybody who has the brains and the smarts and the intelligence to talk to you about weight loss will tell you that the best way to do weight loss is to track calories and to eat in a caloric deficit. Calories in, calories out. Is it a lot more complicated than that? Mentally, yes, but the idea in itself is calories in versus calories out. That's it. And it's thermodynamics. It's science. It is the best way to lose weight. It is the only way to lose weight. And when they talk about 90% of diets failing, they're talking about fad diets, which, yes, 90% of fad diets do fail. Very intense, all or nothing cold turkey diets, 90% of those do fail, which is because you're not making it a lifestyle change. You're making it just almost kind of like a temporary change, seeing it as having an end, and it can lead to a really dangerous cycle. And yes, that is true, but 90% of diets, like just diets, don't fail. It's 90% of fad diets fail. Yo-yo dieting, it's a thing. Which, yes, they're correct on that, but they're not saying it in that context. So that's where they lost me, like, just initially, is that calories are not, or counting calories is not the best way to lose weight. It's literally the only way to lose weight. Yeah, and you want to do it in a way so that you're not starving yourself, for sure, because that's just going to make you binge or whatever. Or just cause very adverse health effects if you're not just genuinely not eating enough food. Secondly, your body does burn fat when you're losing weight. It doesn't eat muscle, to my knowledge. We were laughing because my partner literally just Googled, like, does your body burn muscle when losing weight? And it was like, no, mostly it's fat. So that's just like a quick debunk. If anybody knows more about this subject than I do, let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, your body does burn fat, mostly. So there's that, which is why, like, bodybuilders go on a cut before bodybuilding competitions, or body competitions, if you've been here long enough to remember that. It's because they want to burn fat and make their muscles pop out. Like, they wouldn't do that if you lost muscle. So that's just not true. Oh yeah, them talking about, like, making sure they eat enough food so that they're not losing weight. I mean, if they want to stay the size they are, more power to them. I don't care. It's not hurting me. I don't give a shit. Like, that's not a problem to me. But they could potentially be harming other people by spreading this just blatant misinformation, which is why I'm making this video. I don't make these videos about certain creators to try and change the view of that creator. I'm just trying to draw attention to the creator and the misinformation that they're spewing on the internet. Yeah, so they talk about how they've calculated enough calories to eat in a day so that they're not losing weight. And this person weighs, I think, about like 420, somewhere around there, because they've talked about it. That's the only reason I know. I don't even want to know how much food that is to maintain that amount of weight. And they're making it out to seem like it's the healthy thing to do, when fact of the matter is, being 400 plus pounds just in itself is not healthy. I was 300 plus pounds. I was not healthy. I have a whole video about that. I just think this whole video is spreading just a whole bunch of misinformation. They had me in the beginning. They had me in the beginning, but then it just took a sharp left turn.
This insecure gym bro says you're 420.
First off, I just want to say, the insecure gym bro that they're talking about is JPG Coaching, who's like one of my favorite fitness accounts on TikTok because he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. And so I was actually surprised to see him comment on one of these videos. I always kind of thought he stayed to himself, but hey, whatever, more power to him. So yeah, that's the insecure gym bro that they're talking to, which I thought was hilarious.
The human body is not meant to support your size, and you can't do things that 90% of people can. Please stop giving medical advice.
True. 100% facts. JPG, spitting facts, as always.
For one, I'm 440 pounds.
440 pounds. Sorry, I was incorrect.
Thank you very much. For two, my doctor is completely happy with my weight is fine, completely happy with my lipid panel, completely happy with the fact that I cured my diabetes while getting fatter. Third of all, my body supports my weight just fine. Again, I hit 200 pounds before I got to high school. I have always been fat. I danced hip hop for 6 years at 350 pounds. Trust me, my body can handle my size. Fourth of all, the reason I can't do things that other people can do is because for the 1 billionth time, I have incurable, genetic, chronic illnesses. The things that I have cannot be cured, literally at all. That is why there are things that I cannot do that other people can do, because I am a disabled person. But being disabled has nothing to do with my weight, because you see, I've been this size nearly my entire life and haven't always been disabled. And I'll do you one better. My girlfriend is like nearly 100 pounds heavier than me and has zero health issues that I have. Zero. But try again, I guess. Like, whatever. You can sit here and justify your bigotry and justify your own disordered eating, but I have a healthy relationship with food. I have a healthy relationship with activity and movement and exercise. I have pristine fucking labs in my doctor's eyes. I'm doing great. And even if I weren't, it's none of your fucking business anyway. You're the one that doesn't need to give medical advice. I have been studying this shit for literal years. Literal years I have been studying this, like at a research level of studying it. Not like Google. No, like I actually have training in how to understand and read research articles. Like I was literally going to be a researcher. Y'all are so embarrassing. Like I wish you realized how much of an ass you make yourself look like, because it's embarrassing. And I would be embarrassed if I were you. But I don't have to be embarrassed because I am living a perfectly delightful life. And my health is as great as it can be given my incurable genetic conditions. But sure, convince yourself I'm wrong and you're right, and whatever helps you sleep at night, buddy. Have a great one.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this one too. There's just so much to unpack. The thing that stuck out to me about this one was them talking about theirs and their girlfriend's blood panels being okay and all of that kind of stuff, which who knows if that's true. And honestly, I kind of agree that like it's none of our business, but by being a public figure on the internet, talking about it, gloating about it, using it to prove a point that you're trying to make, you are kind of making it people's business. So there's that. The thing with obesity and the thing with being fat is that it's good until it's not. And it all just kind of like comes on at once. And that's what happened to me. And I was honestly fortunate enough to have it happen to me at a young age so that I could do something about it before my life even really started. And yeah, and so that's the thing that like a lot of people will talk about is how their blood panels, their health, their whatever was fine up until it wasn't. And it's just how it works. I went from 0 to pre-diabetic and live in a malfunctioning liver really, really quick. At the age of 20-ish. I was pre-diabetic in high school, so I was like 17, 18. I'm not anymore. But besides that, yeah, so it's okay until it's not. And it's not something to just not be concerned about. Yeah, it's not something to just not be concerned about because obesity in itself is a health issue. I know they don't think so, but it is. And so, yeah, and it can cause, and it will probably cause all of these other things at whatever time in your life. When it comes to them talking about their genetic incurable chronic illnesses, I'm not touching that. That's not my thing. I feel for them with that. I have a chronic illness that's also incurable. It's not genetic, but it's also incurable. I get it. And it's frustrating. But I think kind of there's a difference between just accepting that you're not able to do certain things because of your medical stuff, and there's also limiting yourself. And that is something I've had to grapple with a lot with my chronic illness. I feel like for a really long time, I limited myself from doing things. And then honestly, the big thing that changed it was I studied abroad, and I was like, Megan, you're in London. Yeah, you feel like crap today, but you'd still probably get ready and go do at least one cool thing. And so after that, I kind of started learning how to not limit myself, how to not be just my chronic illness. And I feel for this person that maybe they don't have the ability to do that. And I'm not saying like mind over matter is everything, because it's definitely not. But it's just something that I think about. And also another thing that I was thinking about was they were talking about how their doctor was okay with how their weight was. And with the way that they kind of demonized fat doctors in the previous video, or thin doctors in the previous video, I wonder if they are seeing a fat doctor, and I wonder if that echo chamber that I kind of thought would happen is happening. And that's very concerning if it is. Also, I don't think it's possible to cure diabetes when gaining weight. Because I was told when I was pre-diabetic that continuing to gain weight would inevitably throw me into full-blown diabetes. Again, anything I'm saying, correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I'm like 80% positive that it is not possible to cure diabetes while actively gaining weight. I also think they take insulin. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if they're still taking insulin or what, but I know they have mentioned insulin in their videos before. So I just don't think that's possible. But so that might just be a lie to try and support their claims. But yeah, so there's that response to JPG coaching. Love that. I love JPG coaching. If you're looking for lifting advice, go to him on TikTok. He's great. On to the next one. Okay, so before we get into this one, this is gonna be like a string of TikToks because they start to talk about weight loss surgery. And that is like one of my first introductions to this person, was their thoughts and opinions on weight loss surgery. And so I wanted to talk about this at the very end because for those of you who don't know, I had weight loss surgery back in 2018. And so yeah, let's go.
Shows like My 600 Pound Life and the 1000 Pound Sisters, TLC profits hella on these shows too. And then they also mentioned Biggest Loser in another comment, and we've kind of been talking back and forth a little bit about all of this. So let's chat about it. I think as a whole, TLC is like modern freak show. I think that they manipulate and take advantage of a lot of various types of marginalized people who are struggling with a variety of things, and instead of offering real actual help, they turn it into a sideshow and profit off of people's illnesses. And I think it's actually quite deplorable. I don't support most TLC shows. I used to like them a lot when I was younger. I can't see them the same anymore. As for Biggest Loser, I was definitely someone who loved the show, loved the coaches, thought that one day I could go on the show, would do the at-home Biggest Loser challenges. And now I see it for what it is. It's an eating disorder. They force people into severe calorie restriction to the point that they are literally starving, and force them to work out to the point that they become physically ill, oftentimes having to be physically sick. I'm emetophobic, so I don't like to talk about the V word, but anyway. And so there's nothing about it that is healthy or mentally sound or physically sound. And I absolutely despise that these shows exist, that any show like this exists. And often even shows that are not necessarily directly related to this. So something like American Ninja Warrior, they love to tout the people who have had extreme weight loss. And it's very gross. Extreme weight loss is incredibly unhealthy for you, no matter what size you are. Rapidly losing weight that fast is akin to having anorexia, and it can cause you to have a heart attack. And it's why so many people from shows like My 600-Pound Life end up dying after getting weight loss surgery, because not only are the surgeries severely dangerous, but the lack of ability to consume enough food, you end up malnourished and you lose weight too fast, and you end up with an unhealthy heart, and more unhealthy than you were when you were fat. They could have just worked on health outcomes instead of forcing weight loss. I could say a whole lot more, but my time's up. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of break it up into these parts because it's 3 or 4 different videos. So I do 100% agree that TLC is a modern freak show. I've thought about making a video on that. I do think that it is a modern day kind of freak show with the people and the kind of content that they make about certain people. That being said, and we all know my thoughts on The Biggest Loser. I did a whole video on The Biggest Loser. I did a whole video on Jillian Michaels. So, we know my thoughts on The Biggest Loser. They damage their participants' metabolisms with their extreme methods of weight loss. It's not maintainable. It's not, we all know, if you don't know my thoughts on that, go watch those videos. I do actually very much agree with them that TLC is creating a freak show of just different kinds of people, different kinds of marginalized people, different kinds of just people. And yeah, so let me know if you want a video on that, because I've actually been thinking about making a video on that. I do think that they do offer help to at least the super morbidly obese people that are on shows like My 600-Pound Life. Even the Slayton sisters, they were offered weight loss surgery. Tammy is Tammy, but And the thing with having weight loss surgery is that no matter what clinic, and I know Dr. Now, I think, is one of the top bariatric surgeons in the country, so I'd imagine it's similar. The amount of prep that has to go into getting weight loss surgery and the amount of follow-up that comes into play after having weight loss surgery is a very big part of bariatric programs, at least good ones. If a bariatric program does not have that, does not talk about that, do not go to that bariatric program. So I just think that their opinions on weight loss surgery are coming from a huge place of misinformation, and they are in turn spreading that misinformation. I will say, I'm going to Google this right now. I do not know how many people have died post weight loss surgery on My 600-Pound Life, so I'm gonna Google that right now because I'm actually curious. Okay, so I did a brief search and unfortunately 10 of the people who have been on My 600-Pound Life have died. And from what I was gathering, only 2 of them, possibly 3, could be, 1 for sure, was from complications from weight loss surgery. The other 2 were heart attacks that, who knows. I will say losing weight does cause stress on the body, for sure. But so does being 600 plus pounds. And I do think that there would become a point where your ticker just gets tired, And I don't think it has to do with the weight loss surgery itself and the rapid weight loss personally, but maybe the damage that was already done pre-surgery. But that's just me. I probably have a bias towards it because I had weight loss surgery. I will say my heart is a lot healthier now. My internal everything is a lot healthier now. And that is the case for, I would say, the majority of people who have had weight loss surgery and kept the weight off. Yeah. So I don't really know what they're talking about with that, because from what I could see, only like one confirmed person really has died from complications due to weight loss surgery after my 600-pound life. So I feel like they're just making hyperbolic statements to try and get their point across, which we're all kind of guilty of. But so I do think they have a point with the TLC thing and the Biggest Loser thing, absolutely. But they're already spreading a bunch of misinformation about the aftermath of weight loss surgery, and we're going to talk about that more now.
It says, WTF, that's fucking insane. How the fuck do people even eat meals with a stomach the size of a golf ball? That's fucked. Yeah, that's the thing.
And they put text on the screen that says this is in reference to gastric bypass. So they're talking about gastric bypass.
They don't actually eat full meals. It's why after these surgeries, you have to be on very, very strict diets and can barely eat anything, because you risk rupturing your stomach because of the size of it. That's kind of the point. It's quite literally a starvation tactic for weight loss, which is like the most ridiculous way to tackle the problem at hand. Taking the stomach down from its 12 by 6 inches to the size of a golf ball is so horrific to me. And you'll find that a lot of people get sick after eating literally one M&M or what have you. It's pretty bad. It's definitely tantamount to torture in my opinion, and I hate that this is something that we do so regularly and so readily.
So, okay. Sorry, I'm just laughing at them saying that weight loss surgery is tantamount to torture. Because mentally, yeah, it can feel like that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I did have some pretty bad buyer's remorse in the couple weeks following my surgery. But that was because I couldn't consume anything other than Gatorade for 2 weeks. Because yes, you can't eat really full meals for a very long time after weight loss surgery. But if you're in the right program, you will have done the correct amount of prep with doctors, nutritionists, psychologists. You will have done all of that prep to make sure your noodle is ready for the change that's about to happen to your stomach. And that is like so important to the whole process. And again, I feel like they're just taking like very niche horror stories about people who may have experienced these things, these negative side effects after weight loss surgery, and making blanket statements about it as a whole. It is a very useful tool. And the thing is after a certain amount of time, I don't know about gastric bypass, because gastric bypass is a much more severe surgery than I had. They make your stomach a lot smaller, and they reroute, I think, your small intestine directly to it. I don't know if it's the same for gastric bypass patients, but I know for vertical sleeve gastrectomy patients like I had, you can start eating full meals again, like years out. Like, that's not an issue. You can start eating more calories than you need. You can gain weight. That's why you hear about a lot of people gaining weight, all their weight back after surgery. I've gained weight since my surgery, and I'm currently trying to do something about it. But I just think they're making like sweeping generalizations about weight loss surgery, and I would really. And the thing that bothers me too is that they put hashtag WLS, which is a common hashtag for weight loss surgery, on any social media. And I gathered a lot of the information about weight loss surgery and about just like, I wanted to use social media to gather the experiences of people, particularly my age, who had had weight loss surgery. And I used the hashtag WLS a lot. And so I kind of hate that they use that hashtag, because they're spreading this misinformation and these blanket statements about weight loss surgery and the aftermath of weight loss surgery on a hashtag that's probably used for some people's like research into if it's a good option for them or not. And that makes me sad. I will say that A lot of gastric bypass patients do kind of have to eat like diabetics after their surgery, and that they can't eat a lot of processed sugar anymore. It will make them sick. I've been fortunate enough to not have any foods make me super ill like that with vertical sleeve, but I do know that that is very common after gastric bypass. But again, any weight loss surgery is a tool, and it is a thing to help you make the necessary lifestyle change. So like if that's part of your new lifestyle change that you have to make, then that's just kind of how it is. It sucks, but that's just how it is. And if you were signing up for weight loss surgery, you should really know that it's going to affect you for the rest of your life anyways. And so that might just be how you have to live from then on. And like I said, it sucks, but that's just true. So yeah, I just think the whole torture thing is hilarious because like it's not really that torturous. It's actually kind of awesome in my experience. On to the next one.
This person says, and it's like literally encouraged. The effects are life-changing and excruciating, and it's pushed on me so casually. This is talking about weight loss surgery. Yeah, I think that's what upsets me the most. It's pushed on a lot of people, and it's pushed on people who are like barely in the overweight category. It's meant for people who are on the extreme end of obesity. So people who are over like 600 pounds usually. But it is pushed on people in the 200 pound, 250 pound range, which is obnoxious to me. And I know like depending on height, it can be different for different people, but there's not a world in which I live that 200 pounds means you need to have weight loss surgery. And it's pushed very casually on literally everybody. And it's because it makes them money. And I don't understand how so few people understand that the bariatric and weight loss surgery industry, because that's what it is. It's an industry. Don't be mistaken. It's an industry. This is how they make money. And there are profits to be had in forcing people to get weight loss surgery. And it's why they've started making this a requirement for other types of surgery. You will see often in my videos about this, my comments are filled with people who couldn't get top surgery or bottom surgery as trans people without losing weight. People who couldn't get other life-saving surgeries until they have weight loss surgery. People who aren't being given, like knee surgery, any kind of hernia repair, any kind of surgery. They are being denied those surgeries because they're too risky until they are given bariatric surgery. So doctors will tell us that surgery, the kinds of surgeries we need to save our lives, are too dangerous because of our weight, but they have no problem putting us through weight loss surgery, which is arguably more dangerous. The procedure is in and of themselves are more dangerous than the life-saving surgeries we need. It's appalling, it's disgusting, and it is an industry meant to make money off of fat people dying.
Okay, so that was the last TikTok that I had to react to of this person. And I feel like it's a banger to end on. So with that, I've never experienced weight loss surgery being pushed on me. I've never experienced that. I talked to my doctor. I talked to my doctor before I had it, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And she was like, yeah, cool. Makes sense. Totally viable option. And I actually wound up just calling my clinic. I didn't even get a referral. So it was never pushed on me personally. Granted, the highest I ever got was 315 pounds, and for me was causing health issues at that point in my life. Yeah, I've never really had it pushed on me. And I don't know what other people's experiences are like, but I don't think doctors really just push weight loss surgery on people. They may suggest it if you're getting to a certain point and your health is getting to a certain point, but I don't think they'll nag you to get it, at least in my experience. I do agree that the weight loss industry is a whole thing, and that's you know, and that's why I talk about all that you need to make sure you're going to a good clinic. Like, that is super important. You need to make sure you're going to a good clinic that's going to take care of you both before and after your surgery, and is going to do all of the appropriate steps that need to be done before you have weight loss surgery. That is very important, because there are some clinics that are just in it for the money and do nothing to help you or prepare you for it. Yeah, so there's that. Where I draw the line is where they start talking about like how people can't get life-saving surgeries in terms of, because they're too big. And that's a common problem with weight loss surgery, or that's a common thing with weight loss surgery too. If you watch My 600-Pound Life, which they claim to do, you will see Dr. Now be like, I don't know if I can operate on this person because of how big they are. Going under anesthesia for a super morbidly obese person for any reason is really dangerous. Not to mention like the blood and all that kind of stuff that like is involved and whatever. Going underneath for surgery for a multitude of different reasons is dangerous for super morbidly obese people. And that's just how it is. In the terms of top and bottom surgery for trans people, those are very, very extensive and very just long surgeries for a healthy person to go through. And so, yeah, your doctor's probably going to want you to lose weight if they feel like your life is in danger when you go under. If you're super morbidly obese and your doctor or surgeon is just like, yeah, let's do it, and like doesn't bring anything up, I would get a new doctor, personally. That's just my opinion. So that's what I want to talk about with this one. Overall, they spread a lot of misinformation about weight loss surgery and about weight loss as a whole. And it's with the conviction. It's the conviction that they have when they talk about it that scares me. Because if I was a young, impressionable person on the internet looking for someone to follow who was like me or whatever, I would take what they were saying seriously because of the conviction they say it with. And that's the most dangerous part to me. And that's why I wanted to make this video. Again, I went to art school. There's a lot of medical misinformation there's a lot of medical stuff being talked about in these TikToks. They are not qualified to talk about it. I am not super qualified to talk about it, but I'm just talking about it from my own experiences and with anecdotal evidence. If you have actual experience in any of this, with medical things that they're talking about, please leave your 2 cents down below, because I would love to hear it, because this scares me. The medical misinformation that this person spreads genuinely scares me, because there's studies now showing that I work in social media for my full-time job. There's studies now showing that people are turning to TikTok more than they are Google to search things. And Google's not a great place either. And so that's scary. This person is on TikTok. And they're using hashtags like weight loss industry, WLS, bariatric surgery, weight loss, that kind of stuff. And that's mixed in with all of the good, true information on TikTok. And what if somebody saw this and was like, oh, okay, never mind, and just didn't go into it any further? Making the decision to get weight loss surgery is a very, very vulnerable decision. It's a very vulnerable experience. It's a hard experience to go through, because you kind of feel like you failed in a way, I think. At least I did. And I feel like some people, I was determined that I was going to get it, and I was just looking to make sure that my thoughts and my choice was a good one, or could be a good one. But some people go researching to make their decision. And some people might just take this as an automatic, okay, no, never mind. And about any kind of weight loss too, not just weight loss surgery. They talk about counting calories, how that's not right or whatever. And I just fear for the effect that it would have on people who aren't already in the fat acceptance, fat activism realm, because that's really scary. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, because I think some of the content that this person makes is factually incorrect and just very scary to have floating around on the interwebs. That being said, if you do come to this video wondering about any of these things like weight loss surgery or whatever, I have a lot of resources about weight loss surgery, my experience with it, on my channel. And if you have any outlying questions, feel free to leave them down below. Either I or people in my community will get back to you, because everybody here is great. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And please do more research than just one person on TikTok. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope I can get this other video, which is my monthly fat acceptance TikTok cringe reaction. I really hope I can get it up soon. I hope this appeal gets lifted so I can get it up soon. And yeah, thank you all so much for your support and watching this video. I love you all so much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds. Don't listen to random people on TikTok or the internet, including me. Do your own independent research, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.